Welcome to the FWI News Review. Coming up, DEFRA reveals plans for sharing disease costs, farmers face water price increases, and can Farmers Weekly readers be fooled? Proposals to force livestock farmers in England to pay towards the cost of dealing with exotic diseases have been described as outrageous. As part of its responsibility and cost-sharing consultation, DEFRA has announced plans which would see livestock farmers pay an annual levy to fund the cost of preparing for disease. From as early as 2012, livestock farmers would also be forced to take out mandatory insurance to cover the cost of disease outbreaks such as bluetongue. DEFRA Secretary Hilary Benn says it's right livestock farmers are involved in making decisions and contributing to the costs of disease. But NFU President Peter Kendall says he's furious farmers will be forced to pay for outbreaks when DEFRA doesn't do enough to keep exotic diseases out of the country. To see more on the consultation, go to fwi.co.uk/cost sharing. Farmers face a sharp rise in water costs under plans by the Environment Agency to cut water use. Johan Tasker reports.
We don't exactly have a water shortage in the United Kingdom. It's more a case of not enough rain falling in the right place or at the right time. What's more, agricultural irrigation is concentrated here in the drier east of the country during the drier summer months, putting further pressure on already limited supplies. Now, a long-awaited water resources strategy, published this week by the Environment Agency, has called for restrictions on abstraction licences. This, of course, will affect mainly arable farmers, but livestock producers too could be hit, especially dairy farmers, who may be asked to install expensive water recycling facilities on their farms just to make sure they use water more efficiently.
A survey has found that half of the UK thinks the countryside is boring. Caroline Stocks reports from the FWI forums.
It may be one of the things Britain's most famous for, but our green and pleasant land apparently doesn't appeal too much to people who live here. According to a survey by hotel chain Travelodge, over half of Britons say the countryside is boring and there's nothing to do or see there. Furthermore, 1 in 10 can't identify a sheep and 83% don't know what a bluebell looks like. But the results haven't shocked FWI Space members. Motley says, "I wonder what percentage of people find urban areas boring. I don't find these figures extraordinary." Paddington Bear says, "The questions posed do show an ignorance of flora and fauna, but if faced with an urban equivalent, such as which chain of coffee shops sells the cheapest coffee, then I would fail miserably." Peter Wells says, "Each to his own," while Glasshouse is a bit more critical of urban people. "It's a pity it wasn't 98% who found it boring," he said. "Then we could be left to get on with farming." What do you think? Have your say at fwi.co.uk/boring.
Thanks, Caroline. And finally, it was April Fool's Day this week, but did the wool get pulled over your eyes? I didn't write these puns, by the way. Ian Piggott takes a look at some of the more unlikely farming stories.
The eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted this picture in newspapers attempting to trick their readers on Wednesday. The inventive use of a can of spray paint prompted another attempt in the FWI forums, with one user showing off his unusual sheep. But what we thought was another bit of Photoshop wizardry actually turns out to be the real thing. This Manx Lockton lamb marks the comeback of this rare Isle of Man breed. It may be proving popular because it's low in fat, but could you work with these horns?
That's it from this Farmers Weekly columnist special. For all the latest news, including DEFRA's High Court win over Foot and Mouth and a tractor buyer's guide, visit fwi.co.uk.